Toilet rolls are such a great material to use whilst working in a school. You can save them up at home and then bring in a big bulk of them for a project. I'm going to show you 9 ways that you can use them. The first activity is superhero cuffs. You'll need 2 toilet rolls and cut a slit down the one side on both. Then use some scissors to round off the sharp edges. You will have 4 sharp edges on each toilet roll. Paint them whatever colour you like, leave them to dry, and then you can add some foam pieces, different shapes and different patterns to create your own superhero logo. You can of course glue them with PVA glue, but I just find hot glue is so much quicker, and if you use a cold hot glue gun, if that makes sense, the children can use it too. This is a great project for drama or role playing for the children to dress up. For this, you'll just need 1 toilet roll and some other bits and bobs that you can see on the screen. Squash the toilet roll down, and then you're going to cut a semi-circle shape over the top just to round off your toilet roll. Only do this on the one end, and then paint your squid or your jellyfish, whatever you want it to be, in nice bright colours. So I like to go for like a turquoisey colour, and then the inside is going to be a purple. Leave the outside for a while to dry before you start painting the inside, otherwise it's going to be impossible without creating a massive mess to paint both the inside and the outside. When all of the paint is dry, get some scissors and cut about halfway up the tube. Keep it folded in half so you're cutting both the back and the front into very narrow strips. Then take a pencil or a pen and use this to twirl those strips around the pencil. And then this way you get nice twirly bits of cardboard. Hole punch the top of the squid, and then get a piece of string to thread through both the front and the back of the squid, and then simply knot it at the end, and then you can hang it up. Before you do hang it up, add some eyes to your jellyfish or your squid with a black pen, and you can add other dots in other places to create tentacles with suckers on, or you can add just little embellishments for decoration. For your bird feeder, start off by pouring some seed onto a plate. You can use mixed seed, or you can use one kind of seed like I am here and just use some sunflower seeds. Get some string and thread it through the middle of your toilet roll, and then you can tie it in a knot on the top so this is ready to hang up in the tree. Cover your toilet roll in peanut butter. This is safe for birds. You can double check online if you want to, but it's crunchy peanut butter that I'm using. You can use smooth if you want to. Smother this all over the toilet roll using either a spoon or a knife. Obviously be careful if you're using a knife with children. Then simply get handfuls of the seed and push it into the peanut butter Keep going until you've covered the whole tube, and then get it in between your hands and just compact it down even further. Add more seeds if you need to. Finally hang it in the tree. To make our little owl, we're going to push down on the top of a toilet tube, and in this way it creates 2 points for the ears and a smooth top for the top of his head. Glue this into place. Then out of foam, you can use whatever colours you want. I'm just going for traditional brown. You can cut 2 wings for your owl. Out of some yellow paper, you want to cut a little triangle, and this is going to be his beak for later on. Using a variety of pattern paper, I've got 4 different colours and patterns. You're going to cut a wavy line against a straight line, and this is going to create the feathers. We're just going to stick them onto the bottom part of the owl, and we're going to layer them up so you won't be able to see the straight line. You're just going to see a wavy line as you go up. And then for your top piece of pattern paper, instead of having a straight line on the one side, you want to cut a curve, as this is going to be the top of the owl's chest. Add your beak to the owl, and then you want to add 2 big googly eyes. Or you could just draw them on, but make sure they're big, as we know that owls have big eyes. Now you can add your foam wings to either side of the owl. I find it best to use the hot glue gun. Pritt stick doesn't hold it in place very well for me. And then you're going to get some more foam and use this to create some feet for your owl. Glue this to the base of your owl. I just trimmed mine up a bit neater so they weren't so square on the edges of the feet. And then you have a finished owl. A super simple way of using toilet rolls is to use them for printing. So for this style of print, I'm going to squash the toilet roll so it's more of an oval shape, and then I'm going to cut it into 2 so I can have 2 pieces to print with. Simply dip them in the paint, and I'm going for pink because I'm going to create some petals for some flowers and some green for some leaves. This could be related to a William Morris style printing activity. Fill up your whole piece of paper with your prints, and then when you've done your petals and your leaves, just join up your leaves to your petals with a stem. We're going to make mini pumpkins, so this is a great autumn craft to do, and you can create a selection of these and create a little pumpkin patch, but I'm just going to show you how to make one. So you need 1 toilet roll per child and cut it into strips which are about 2 or 3 millimeters wide. unfold your strips so they're more of an oval shape, and then you're going to overlap them. About 8 strips should do, and then you can create a round shape. Glue these into position, and then you're ready to paint it a nice bright orange. Paint one side all over, leave to dry, and then you can paint the other side when the first side is finished drying. Then with some different shades of green tissue paper, cut them into rectangles, layer them up, roll them into a sausage, and then you're going to trim them to the right size to glue on top of the pumpkin. A great project for looking at seasons. Like I said, you can create a whole pumpkin patch. You'll need 2 toilet rolls per child for this one, and on each toilet roll you're going to do the same thing, so I'm just going to show you on one. Smother the whole toilet roll in PVA glue, just cover it in glue and then use a glue spreader to spread it everywhere. Some tissue paper of 2 or 3 colours, and you're going to use these to just overlap and cover the toilet roll. So I've gone for pink and for purple. You might want to go for the more traditional camouflage style of greens and brown. Cover your tissue paper with a layer of PVA glue just to make sure it's all flat and in place. Leave it to dry. Then to measure the circumference of your toilet roll, use the string that you'll be using later to go around the circumference of the one end of your toilet roll. Use your finger to mark where it went to, and then lay this against a piece of foam that you're going to use. Use a pencil to mark where your finger was, and this will give you the length of the circumference that you need. Draw 2 strips and then cut these out, and these are going to go on the end of your toilet rolls. They need to be about 1 centimetre wide. Simply glue them on to the end of each toilet roll tube and make sure that you cover the ends of your tissue paper. Do the same for the other end of your toilet roll, but this time you want your bands to be about 5mm thick. Put a strip of glue down the one side of your toilet roll and then you're going to attach your other toilet roll to this strip of glue. Pierce a hole on each outer edge of the toilet roll, about level with each other, and then you're just going to thread the string through each of these holes, and on the inside of the toilet roll tubes just tie a knot, tie a double knot if needed if you're worried that it's going to come unstuck. A nice little project to do for school for bird watching. This craft is quite hard to do, but all you need is one toilet roll, some water and a pencil. Dunk your toilet roll tube in some water and then literally soak the whole thing in water, so I picked up any excess water that I dropped anywhere. And then you're just going to literally fold it into different shapes, try any shapes that you want, and you're going to try and create a face. So try and fold the top down to create some really heavy frown lines, and I used the pencil to carve out some eyes. I pinched the middle section to create a nose and used my pencil to push up the base of the nose, and then I just folded the bottom part and used my fingers to manipulate the cardboard to create a round mouth. You can do all sorts of different faces with this. It's a really easy way to do sculpture, well, not an easy way, but a cheap way to do sculpture, and you can create really cool faces. Leave these to dry overnight, and you could leave them as they are like I have, or you could paint them the following day. You could dry brush them over so they look really old and it looks really cool. For this final idea, you'll need 4 toilet roll tubes, a big piece of cardboard and some cardboard squares for each child. I'm just using a pencil to mark about 1 centimetre down on my toilet roll tubes. I'm going to do it on each of them, and then this is my marker of where I'm going to cut up to. I'm just going to cut some little squares to create 4 toilet roll tube turrets. Repeat this on all 4 toilet roll tubes to create your turrets. Glue your squares to your 4 toilet roll tubes. So for this you'll need 1 square between 2 tubes. You want to put a strip of glue down the 2 opposite edges on the square. Glue these 2 bits to the centre of 2 toilet rolls, but make sure that the bottom of the toilet roll and the bottom of the square are flush so that it sits nice and flat on your piece of cardboard when you come to glue it down. Repeat this step until you have a square in the centre, and then you have a turret on each corner of the square. Hopefully your square will be a bit more square than mine. Mine was a bit wonky because I didn't measure anything exactly, but if you do measure it properly, it should turn out square. Add glue to the base of your turrets and to the base of your square so that you can then attach it to your larger piece of cardboard where you're going to glue it in the centre. Paint your castle. I went for a traditional grey kind of style. You could go for like grey or brown. And then I just added, with a sponge, some black paint just so it looked like it was aging. And then I painted the base a nice green for the grass. Again, I sponged around with a different shade of green so you could get different textures, and I added some green up the turrets so it looked like there was moss and other things like ivy that had overgrown over the years. Then I added some tin foil around my castle to create a moat. So I just simply glued this down and then used a blue Sharpie to create a blue tint to it so that the tin foil and the Sharpie look more like water. On a spare piece of cardboard, I drew a drawbridge. I just guessed approximately the size. I just knew it had to reach over the moat, otherwise it would be a very pointless drawbridge. But I just I just used Sharpie to colour it in black, but you could add more detail if you wanted to, and just cut this out. I also added more details to the castle with the black Sharpie, like an entrance and some windows. Next, I glued some string to the drawbridge so that you can actually draw the bridge up. So I've put a blob of glue on the drawbridge on each side to add the string, and then I glued the string to the castle itself. I also added a strip of glue to the edge of the drawbridge itself so that it could attach to the castle so it wasn't flying around everywhere, because the string wasn't doing a great job of holding it in place. You could create some labels for the children to use to label different features of a castle. It's great for a history project when you're studying different types of castles. I hope that you've discovered at least one new way to use toilet rolls.